Can you hear that? Silence is the most beautiful thing that exists in the universe. Silence is my radio, my music playlist. I suppose the ad breaks are the interjections I hear from Mission Control every now and then. Silence is my only solace up here, 70 miles above the surface of the earth. Up here I'm always contemplating, constellating my thoughts. Here I get to live out my childhood dreams of floating among the stars, witnessing the poetry of the universe. Breathtaking. On that note, my oxygen supply is the only thing preventing this suit from becoming a custom-built coffin. So much space before me and yet so little in this suit. Sometimes I feel like I'm suffocating in this prison, but it's all worth it for this view. Even when I'm back on Earth, I still find myself staring at the stars. Diamonds twinkling away in the night sky, always out of reach. It's so beautiful. There are no walls in space, no confines, no boundaries, and of course, no sound. Only the universe and the quiet. When I was a child, I would look up into the night sky and observe the stars. I remember my favorite constellation was Gemini, because I shared this star sign with my brother. I steal a glance at the earth. It reminds me of a globe I've seen before. It reminds me of him. My memory isn't the best. Most of the time I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. I hope I haven't left the stove on. Yet I can't seem to forget what happened to my brother. The events of that fateful day, so long ago. Crystal clear. This is what he told me. I had woken up hungry. I sat in my bed, listening to the noises outside. It was raining that morning. Pouring, actually. As I had a major day ahead of me, I turned on the stove and cracked open a couple of eggs, my favorite breakfast. You know how I like mine, sunny side up, and I always add salt for flavor. My brother didn't have breakfast at the usual time. He liked his at about 1 in the morning. Regardless, he wasn't exactly the typical kind of guy. He described himself as sort of a Robin Hood, except he never actually gave back to the poor. I knew what he was up to. I'd always turn a blind eye to it. I shouldn't have. He became very good at what he did. Fairly well seasoned. After each of his exploits, he'd regale me with stories of what he had done, the treasures he had taken. I was too caught up in the pursuit of my own dreams to advise him otherwise. He wanted to reach for diamonds. I wanted to reach for the stars. Literally. What happened next may as well have happened to me. These were his words. After breakfast, I got ready. That night, or should I say morning, I planned to pay a visit to a lovely old man who lived not far from me. A jeweler by trade, he obviously had an affinity for them, but there was no way anyone could appreciate diamonds as much as I. It was my lucky day. An open window on the second floor. My speciality. I invited myself inside, and that's when I saw them. Diamonds. They stared at me as they twinkled in the moonlight. In that moment, I must have spaced out. All it took was one small step for everything to go wrong. I had not noticed a metal globe on the shelf. I don't know how I knocked it over, but that is when my whole world came crashing down. And just like that, the silence I so relied on was shattered. The quiet, gone. I'd woken someone up. I still remember his gaunt face, wide-eyed and terrified as he saw me, a crowbar gripped tightly in his hands. And then he attacked. I didn't mean to do it. I would never intentionally assault anyone, not for the world. But as the adrenaline surged in my veins, something came over me. I picked up the globe and swung. I can't remember if I heard his scream or mine, but the next thing I knew was just that awful quiet. I knew it would be bars for me when I saw the red and blue lights flashing through the window. It truly was self-defense, but the court didn't see it that way. He was put away for a long time. Prison was not kind. I tried to cast my mind back to my childhood, searching for memories of playing with my brother back home. I tried to remember scampering down hallways, playing in cardboard boxes, and pretending that we were flying through the cosmos. I searched the recesses of my mind for corridors filled with noise and laughter, but all I can remember is silence. My mind is a funny thing. I think it tries to protect me from my past, but every now and then I remember everything. When I was a child, I would look up into the night sky and observe the stars. I remember that my favorite constellation was Gemini, because I needed to keep alive the memory of my twin brother who died at birth. I hate that he left me alone. Silence is the most terrifying thing that exists in the universe.